on the YouTube side. So before we get into it, I am gonna go ahead and make sure everything is working properly there. As I am pretty sure the data was going to the wrong stream. Yeah. I'm just gonna try restarting maybe. Sorry for the delay. Just making sure this works correctly. Okay, so YouTube is set up, and welcome everybody. We are gonna be playing through the mid-game of Johto. No, okay. I think it should be good to go. I was streaming to last week's stream, but I think it should be fixed. So since the last time we played, I did manage to grab myself a Miltank and get the pink bow. I also may have caught this Psyduck for use on various HM moves. Other than that, I'm pretty sure my team is basically the same. So let's go ahead and get started. Fighting through the waves of rocket grunts. Seeing what they have in store for us. So our Slowpoke has pretty powerful headbutts. Though I suppose Surf should probably be more powerful, even if the attack stat is higher. Oh, and I also grabbed the EXP share. My favorite color is probably some shade of, I want to say purple. Or, maybe gold. Alright, and then there is a second rocket grunt. Still nothing crazy here. Another Zubat coming in. And Wild Surf is more powerful than a super effective Confusion. I want to use the Confusion PP when I am able to. Rattata. I don't think I have any fighting types. Apart from some, Rock Smash, which is very weak. Primer is another Confusion. Oh, thank you, Draco. I really appreciate it. I'm really bad at actually responding to these things, but it really means a lot. It should be higher base stat and stab. Which thing are you referring to there? I know we were talking about, the Psyduck. Is this base crystal? It is. So I wanted to make a video on Johto's level curve. But before I did that, I figured I should be replaying through Crystal. That way I actually have the experience fresh in my mind, and I'm not just talking entirely out of my, wherever. Oh, okay, yeah. So about the Slowpoke, what I meant was, it only has 32 special attack versus 44 attack. However, Surf obviously gets stab and has higher base power, So I think all of that together, it does make the surf more powerful. And it's a Magnemite. We are going to switch out into Quilava. And as my goal is going to be to try clearing this without visiting a Pokemon Center. Which I think is the intended experience. And it's part of what makes the level curve not as bad as I think people are going to give it credit for. If any one of these rocket grunts had Pokemon in the 30s, it would be a very unfun experience. Constantly putting back and forth to the center after every couple of battles. But you're supposed to be able to clear out this entire hideout, similar to doing an Elite Four run. So they need to be a little bit lower to compensate for that. And we hit the secret switch right away. So I'm pretty sure we now have complete rain to actually walk through this area. Now, I believe these are going to be Voltorb. It's like Voltorb and one other. Oh, Geodudes. Okay. Fortunately, I did give the Miltank Shadow Ball, so it's able to deal with it relatively safely. A couple of Shadow Balls, and that magnitude dealt barely no damage at all. Or are they all Geodudes? I guess we will find out. Okay, I was right. There are Voltorbs in here. But we can go ahead and use Stomp on a non-rock type. And we are going to go from there. Switch on back to Slowpoke, as it is the one we want to train. My Pokemon were not really all that tired or hurt. I believe we need the key. Oh, it's a password. And a Venonat that is a poison type. So we're going to go ahead and use Confusion. Like we mentioned, even though it is super effective, Confusion's 40 base power goes up to 80, which is still weaker than Surf. And then another Venonat, so it'll be no problem. I'm sorry I don't have a way for you to just get rare candies. I know grinding is not very fun. But it's also... Oh, welcome, Purple Bird. Hoping you had a good stream. What were you up to? I'm gonna assume Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Given the people who usually find this channel. Interested in hearing about your stream. Oh, also playing Crystal. Are you playing through the original or one of the ROM hacks? I know there is a pretty popular one out these days. And what's your team looking like? Something I'm really interested actually is, are you using a full team of 6? As I'm actually going to be doing this run with just 4. And I'm leaving the other 2 slots for all of the HMs I need. I think, at least in the original game, it is more or less designed for me to play it that way. I'm sure in the Legacy version, they probably make it so that you are encouraged to use a full team, though. down to the I've completely forgotten what I was saying. But that is also okay. Huh. I'm surprised there wasn't anything there. Like it says, running hasn't been very bad. Going back and forth on the bike. Yeah, I guess as long as you have the time and something to distract you, it is not that bad. I'm going to assume you're like watching a stream or podcast and just doing that in the background. And Rattata Slowpoke, ought to be able to finish this one off with a surf. Okay, alright, yeah, that's more or less what I was expecting. I'm sure the ROM hack is also a little bit more difficult than the base game, and probably has ways, oh, is there a rival fight in here? I completely forgot about it. Okay, no, he does just run away. I do not remember what TM this is. Alright, so Thief would be useful if we were trying to get a metal coat or something. I'm not sure what other items are really that useful for us at this point. Maybe Wild Chances would have a lucky egg, but I'm not sure that that exists in Gen 2. Oh, I probably should have expected it to outspeed us. But I mean, its HP is going to be lower than ours, and Headbutt or 2 should take it down. I am not very concerned about losing this 1v1. Especially not with a Headbutt flinch. And then I see I missed some chat while battling the Ditto. So give me a moment just to scroll on up. Purple, I am interested in hearing your team members. If you've already gone far enough to build out your full 6. And then I see Jaco's asking why no Ampharos. There are actually no Mareep available in Crystal. They are exclusive to Gold and Silver. And obviously Sylveon is not here yet. And then, discussion about future generations. And then while reading that, I completely missed what the Eradicate was doing, but apparently the answer was nothing. We'll go ahead and take the free items. And then hopefully we will find one of the passwords sooner rather than later. Oh, there is one. And then presumably the other one is going to be from you. As expected. And it also looks like this is the only woman grunt we have encountered in the entire Rocket hideout. Does Team Rocket have a diversity problem? I mean, all these grunts look nearly exactly the same. Is there some nepotism in the ranks of Rocket? Also, this is a grass type. We're going to switch. Even though I don't think it's really that dangerous. Better safe than sorry. Alright, I've got it. Ekans and Arbok, names in reverse. Nailed it on the first try. No problems at all. Our team is pretty healthy. So I'll go ahead and fight this Rocket, even though it is an optional battle. I do wonder if I should have done all of the optional encounters. Level 22 is starting to be relatively on par. So I went for the Surf in hopes of a one-hit KO. But we will finish it off with Confusion. Just so we don't run out of PowerPoints. Oh, and it looks like the Surf might have actually been a damage roll, given we did pretty well with this Confusion. And an unnecessary crit to finish it off. Though Slowpoke being poisoned is an actual concern for the rest of this dungeon. We're gonna go ahead and give Miltank a shot here. Oh, apparently that was not the correct door. So now we need to go, back through all of these. And then we'll get to the admin, who will give us another password. Wait, that was a little bit too far. Let us check in on Slowpoke, and then use Milk Drink to heal. Each time we use it, we are going to lose HP on our Miltank. However, once we enter a battle, we are going to be able to use Milk Drink in battle and recover the HP back. Rocket Executive also only on a Zubat, even though I'm pretty sure somebody in the hideout does own a Golbat. I think, if anything, that is what I would change. Is making the actual boss fights a little bit harder. I read the Zubat using Bite on the screen and misspoke. But I don't think the overall level curve is an issue so far. I mean, I guess even this is pretty easy, but they're also supposed to be. Team Rocket is a bunch of, like Paco says, just random fanboys with no real leadership. They aren't very strong trainers, and it's a lot like Silver said. They are supposed to be pretty weak alone, and only a threat if you have to fight them in overwhelmingly large numbers. It is something I should think a little bit more about, though. Especially if you came this way. After doing the quest, with Jasmine and Chuck, I decided to go to Mahogany Town first. Because I thought it made a little bit more sense this way. Otherwise, you're basically doing 2 rocket fights. In immediate succession. Where I think if you do from here, beat Price, and then immediately go over to Goldenrod Tower, that can feel pretty underwhelming. And it also, going for Price first also gives you a lot quicker access to the shiny Gyarados. I did decide to overlook it for this playthrough in particular, but I think a lot of players are going to want to gain that level 30 monster pretty early, rather than wait until the 7th gym. And now we get the true boss fight. The first executive was apparently just a decoy executive. I think the Gyarados should have Thrash, which is more than acceptable for an in-game playthrough. Though not getting Stab is a downside. And like Paco says, it's still Gyarados. It comes in at level 30 when your team is going to be around level 24 or 25. And worst case scenario, it's able to learn a lot of HM moves. I have absolutely used Red Gyarados as a dedicated HM user before. Like Draco says, Surf, Waterfall Strength, and I think it gets like Rock Smash or Whirlpool. There are a lot of water HMs. Let's go ahead and knock out these Electrode. Almost as threatening as dealing with the Rocket Grunts or admins themselves. Level 23 is no problem. Interestingly, when does Voltorb actually evolve? I want to go check that. So it evolves at 30, which is what I thought. But we do know that the signal being transmitted from the tower is specifically designed to make Pokemon evolve faster or earlier. So perhaps these Electrode are simply victims of the very machine they are powering. We see them self-destruct, so we're just gonna Milk Drink and see if the Electrode wants to defeat itself. This one not doing it right away. So we'll go ahead and go in for a couple of stomps, get the flinch, and grab a quick KO. No problem at all. And there we go, another HM. Oh, Whirlpool is a great choice. And by that I mean, an awful choice that I don't have any real use for. However, I already have my Psyduck. So we're gonna go ahead and give it Whirlpool right away. And round out its incredibly powerful, diverse moveset, containing attacks like Rock Smash and Scratch. Undefeatable powerhouse moves. And now that we are done here, let's go ahead and get out. There is a warp tile, and I believe the Mahogany Gym should be open now. We managed to clear the Rocket Hideout without leaving or healing our Pokemon, and it wasn't much of a struggle at all. So I do see a little bit where people are coming from. Though I do think it is still done somewhat intentionally as a design choice. Let's go ahead and bring in Quilava for this gym. I think Quilava is going to be a little bit on the bench after this gym, as we are going to be traveling water routes and fighting stuff like Chuck's Poliwrath. Unfortunately, so many of the ice types are part water, or in this case, Seal isn't even an ice type until it evolves. So I am actually a little bit worried about using Quilava here as well. And that dealt no damage. Let's try bringing in a heavier hitter, like my Miltank. Stomp manages to get in for some decent damage. Like Draco says, this is technically listed as the 7th gym, but it is going to be my 5th. The gyms are mostly designed to be fightable in any order, though I am pretty sure it is meant to be Chuck, then Jasmine, and then Price. Clarissa with another Dugong coming in. I don't have any electric types. So what else would be good against the Dugong? I mean, I think they are also weak to rock, but obviously if they have a water type attack, I would not be in a great spot with my Sudowoodo. If they start just launching surfs at it. I don't think they are actually going to do so, given all they've done so far is kind of click on Growl. Yeah, fire is finally going to work against Jinx. But we are still using Quilava. And it does not have Flame Wheel. One second, I need to grab a tissue. We are back. Jinx has fallen to the fires of Quilava. Also, notably, this skier's name was Roxanne. Presumably no relation to the gym leader. I'll go ahead and battle this guy. And I'm mostly going to be expecting a lot of water types again. And there it is, Shelder, another water Pokemon. Though it is probably going to have a pretty high defense stat. And I would not be surprised if it has no water moves, as it feebly tackles. Though I will switch out against the Cloyster. All we need is really any special attacker. But our only real option here is Confusion from Slowpoke to avoid dealing with Cloyster's base 180 or so defense. Supersonic unfortunately hitting, and then Aurora Beam, dealing about a third of our health with a critical hit. A battle that could go either way. Protect to draw out the number of times I can hit myself with the Confusion. And they land the double protect. Very interesting. But they aren't able to do it a third time. Snap out of the Confusion, and Cloyster is low. Supersonic once more. And it is a 50-50 that we lose. So it is back into protect spamming. In order to actually get hit by the Confusion, we have to lose a 55-45 on Supersonic, and then do it again on a 50-50 to hit ourselves. Let's go ahead and bring in Miltank to finish the job here. A couple of stomps should get through the Shelder, no problem. And this should be the final gym trainer. So once we defeat Brad, we're gonna go ahead and heal our Pokemon before attempting the gym leader fight. Like with the Rocket Hideout, I generally try to do all of the base trainers without visiting the Pokemon Center. But the gym leader, I do want to be prepared for. Welcome, Aura. I am doing pretty well. I mean, I am sick, but I'm on the path to recovery, and I definitely feel a lot better than I did, even a day ago. So this trainer, I believe, just had two of their Pokemon get one shot, and then asked me if I could tell how serious they were. I'm gonna go with no. It's pretty hard to tell that they were taking this seriously, actually. Let's go ahead and heal. And now we need to actually solve the puzzle. So if we are trying to get to there, we can either hit there, which means hitting that one, which means hitting that one, which means hitting this one. Not that complicated. So ice types, but also a lot of water. Let's go ahead and put Miltank up front for this one. I also do have the return TM, but I am not sure if the Miltank actually likes me enough for it to be stronger than Stomp at this point of the game. Let's go ahead and save. Also, I did not remember this, but Price's interdialogue just said, I have suffered a lot. I have suffered a lot. Let me show you what I mean. That's actually a pretty hard line. He's ready to show us the meaning of suffering. And then he's going to get absolutely rolled by some 10-year-old who has 1 week of experience training Pokemon. Let's go ahead and stomp on Seal. Grab a flinch and do it again. Well, Draco, have you considered that he is old and all his Pokemon are dead from old age? And level 29, Dugong. It is actually out-leveling my team here. We'll go for another Stomp, and it's looking like it's probably just barely going to miss a 3-hit KO. Unfortunately for Price, we have the very broken Milk Drink. Allowing us to maintain near full health. And Dugong is going to fall while we are around... oh. Well, that could be an issue, actually. We'll just keep on stomping. And maybe we can stop the sleep talks. Or snores. Alright, but it does not go for another rest. We are just barely not 3-hit KOing this. So that could have been a very delayed battle. And finally is the Piloswine. Piroswine, I assume does not have Earthquake. So it's probably not that threatening. For your attack, dealing 5 damage per hit, or a little bit more on the crits. However, with the power of Miltank, using a recovery move, we should remain healthy. Blizzard has had an accuracy nerf in this generation, but that 30% chance to freeze is a little bit threatening. However, if they manage to miss one, we should be okay. Or maybe we will PP stall out the Blizzard entirely. Unfortunately, they get a crit, but Blizzard is only a 5 PP move. So they are going to have to do something else eventually. Our Miltank refuses to go down. As I said, Blizzard only 5 power points. And we still outspeed after the first Icy Wind. So we are back to pretty solid HP. And we can resume stomping the Piloswine. Even with 5 consecutive blizzards, they were not able to take them out. Hyper Potion is fine. All they are doing is stalling for time. Another Fury attack, not a huge deal. Yeah, I did notice the Dugong did not do anything. I believe in Gen 4, they either have Sleep Talk or Snore. But I guess not in Gen 2. Alright, and their ace, level 31 Piloswine, offered a pretty good battle. If it weren't for all of those milk drinks. 5 consecutive blizzards would have been a little bit challenging to deal with, I think. My Quilava, I didn't want to bring in case it had a ground move. We didn't actually see any though, as we saw Blizzard, Icy Wind, and Fury Attack. So maybe the 4th move was ground. Or maybe it was nothing at all. Sudowoodo has had the experience chair. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it to the Quilava now. Should be down at the bottom. And then I am curious. Are we able to go past Rage Candy Bar Guy? No. Fair enough. Oh wait, I do have the bike. I always forget about that. So it's an easy surf back over to Ekatreek. Since we did it this way first, we don't have access to the Fly HM. So we do have to go the normal way. Hopefully Slowpoke is able to break through. And we aren't stuck fighting the Goldeen for 5 turns. Alright, and twice in a row. Can we make it 3? Slowpoke breaks through and Goldeen faints. Something notable about the Goldeen line is they learn Waterfall by level up. Though it is now an HM in this game, so it's not as impressive. But it can still be nice if you don't want to learn it via HM for some reason or another. I'm pretty sure we can just go straight to Olivine here without visiting the Pokemon Center a second time. Bottom-mites have a chance of holding the Metal Coat. However, I don't plan on doing any trading. So we will simply proceed like normal. And now it is surf time. So I actually don't... What is this place? Oh, this must be only for post-game. welcome Aura. Again, how are you doing? And what kind of Pokemon do you prefer to use in the game? I'm interested in hearing what kind of teams other people have come up with. Okay, so we are doing a water route, which I think unfortunately or fortunately means it is once again Miltank time. Definitely doing a lot to carry the run. Now, I believe that Cianwood is to the southwest. So I'm just gonna go down as far as possible. And then go to the left. Or I guess until the route changes. And we are more or less just avoiding all of the trainers. Not intentionally. It is just kind of working out this way. The Tentacool and even the Tentacruel seem to faint in one hit. Miltank doing a great job. Though this one is a higher level, so it might survive. A Supersonic, but it does not hit. So Miltank is gonna go ahead and knock it out again. Oh, and we've made it. Yeah, that is definitely true. There are a lot of Pokemon, viable for in-game playthroughs. I think you can make basically anything work. I think my team has a pretty decent, balance between overall being strong Pokemon, but they aren't necessarily like the absolute strongest options either. I think a lot of people obviously would be using Feraligatr or Lapras as their water Pokemon of choice. Paco. You say that, however, counterpoint, my opponents are not using Generation 2 Pokemon. They are all using Generation 1 Pokemon. And pretending I did not exist for a moment there, but then I have recovered. But I have also completely forgotten what we were talking about. Oh, alright, and I forgot there was a trainer battle. I remembered the Suicune event, but not the battle. However, Miltank is only down 2 hit points. So this is totally fine. And he has 2 Pokemon weak to our Shadow Ball. Off to a bad start for the legendary Suicune Hunter. Alright, Electrode as the final Pokemon. And only because I'm afraid of Miltank being too good. I want to give some of my other Pokemon a chance to do things. Miltank has already taken out 3 Electrodes in this play session. Let's go ahead and try out Sudowoodo's freshly learned Rock Slide. And then to avoid any accuracy shenanigans, we'll finish off with the super effective Dig. he was not very strong. But that is also kind of his MO. He was not chosen for Suicune because he is not a pure of heart, naturally gifted trainer. I definitely don't need any screenshots. I just need to find which one of these is the... Do I remember the 4 islands along the way? No. I did not encounter any islands along the way. Oh, we actually do have Whirlpool, though. So should I explore there? I feel like the answer is going to be no, because I don't want to do that. And we are going to be fighting a fighting type gym. So it is time for Miltank to earn a rest, while Slowpoke will attempt to use Confusion on all of these. This would have been a really good spot for a double battle if it was not Generation 2. Let's just go ahead and go for the Confusion. Hitmonlee has pretty low HP and defenses, so I was actually expecting that to do significantly more damage. I guess we will go for a Surf. And it does about the same. You see, Paco. There were just no new fighting type Pokemon in Generation 2. Just absolutely none. I mean, especially nothing related to this Hitmonlee that I am currently facing. I think if my Slowpoke had evolved, we would be in a much better position for these fights. But being an unevolved Pokemon this late into the game is giving us a little bit of trouble. Fortunately, we have the... we have 3 other Pokemon in the back we are able to use. We'll go ahead and throw out one more Confusion and then switch out. Maybe we'll get a stat drop or a Confusion. It doesn't appear to be the case. So let's go with Quilava and see what we're able to do with this. Unfortunately, an unlucky paralysis right from the start. However, we did freshly learn Flame Wheel, so it should be a significant damage increase. Hitmonchan takes a fair amount. But for some reason is using Fire Punch here. A wonderful AI from the opponent. Oh, and welcome Night Kitten. And thank you, Aura. The model is technically I was gonna say I made it, but realistically I took a base model and then edited some of the features. Slowpoke is definitely a little bit not ready for any extra fights. So we're gonna go like this. Even though Quilava is paralyzed, I think it should be able to handle a Machop. And then Aura. I actually meant to ask you, what weapon do you use in Splatoon? Since I'm pretty sure that is an Inkling profile picture. Also, the paralysis has completely destroyed our Quilava. Let's go ahead and try bringing in the Sudowoodo. And I need to grab some water, so I will be right back. Alright, and we are back. Alright, Paco, enjoy your night. Alright, so this Machop is not using Karate Chop on us for some reason. Instead opting for the Seismic Toss. But that is good enough for us. Machoke is pretty threatening here, and it even outspeeds. I was considering going for a Flail, but knowing the Machoke is faster is a big issue. Unfortunately, we have to let the Sudowoodo go down here. Oh, I am actually also an NZAP main. I have been using the 85 since the first game. So, Miltank does not have a great matchup here, but we are faster and deal over 50%. And also, the AI, once again, chooses to not use Karate Chop, allowing Miltank to kind of walk through this. And there is still one more trainer before we get to the gym leader. So, let us see if Miltank is able to sweep. And then we will head to the Pokemon Center before we fight the actual gym leader. Though I am a little bit surprised the gym puzzle is kind of in between these, rather than being after all of the gym trainers. Might as well just click Stomp. Something like a Mankey, I think we do one-hit KO, and we do. Then it is just another Mankey. Presumably, they are going to have a Primate, is what I would say. Except I'm pretty sure Chalk uses one, so they might not want to double dip on that. Oh, no, and a Primate does come out. But I am okay with this. Let's go ahead and Stomp, and that's over 50%. And once again, it is not even using a fighting type move. Primate goes down with basically no Veil resistance offered. Miltank has been doing by far the best in this gym, despite it being a fighting type area. Let's go ahead and heal on up. And then I am gonna bring in Quilava as my lead, as I'm pretty sure the ace is the Poliwrath. So Quilava should be okay against the first Pokemon, as long as we switch it out afterwards. Alright, and there we go. Let's go ahead and save the game again. So as a reminder, Price's ace was a level 31 Piloswine. Let's go ahead and see what level Chuck is at. he does notably only have 2 Pokemon rather than 3. And they do seem to be at least a few levels lower. Alright, Quilava slowly making its way towards its evolution level. I'm gonna bring in the Miltank here. I do think the Poliwrath uses a focus punch strategy. So if we just repeatedly stomp it, it shouldn't be able to use the attack. Oh, and it's going, oh, it's Dynamic Punch Mind Reader. Also an interesting idea. But it goes for Hypnosis instead. Oh, is that actually how it guarantees the Focus Punch? Is Focus Punch even a Gen 2 move, though? Because I feel like it's a Dynamic Punch user. It is. Okay. And then I think Gen 4 they use Focus instead. I'm gonna finish this off with Slowpoke. So we are able to get the experience points on it. Notably, for some reason, they also aren't healing up the Poliwrath. And I am not sure why. Chuck goes down. No problem. And I'm pretty sure we get Fly from Chuck's wife or something outside of the gym. Or I guess I was just imagining that they are related. Oh no, okay. It is indeed a married couple. And then the other thing I want to consider is whether or not to actually fly back right away or to go battle those optional trainers. Obviously, there is supposed to be a huge difficulty spike as we get over to Claire. So I don't want to be super complacent. Oh, and welcome, Red Fire. Hope you are doing well. I'm gonna go south of Cianwood and see what I can discover. Maybe we get a little bit of experience points that'll come in handy. Worst case scenario. And if our team starts to look weak, we can always go ahead and fly out. Unfortunately, Slowpoke not able to get the one-hit KOs here on the Wild Tentacool, as that would be a pretty reasonable training method. But being slower and dealing with poison and confusion, not super fun. I'll try to take out this one, but maybe I will just give Slowpoke the experience share instead. And continue to let Miltank kind of carry the run. So item, take it from Quilava and give it to Slowpoke. The Quick Claw is a great item for it, and I'll give it back to it once it turns into a mighty Slowbro. That is actually pretty interesting knowledge. If Staryu actually is a nighttime exclusive spawn. I'm gonna look that up. Because I'm pretty sure it was just a fishing rod encounter. And I'm not seeing anything about Staryu in any of these spawns. It is a nighttime good rod. Okay. It is nighttime exclusive. But it is a rod encounter rather than a wild encounter. Still relatively interesting to learn there. For Matthew and a Krabby. Level 23. I'm expecting another Stomp to make short work of this Pokemon, but it actually manages to hang on when even the Tentacruels were struggling to do so. Pretty interesting. I've never thought of the Kingler line as one with a particularly decent defensive stat line. But I'm getting the sense that this is a route filled with trainers that have the equivalent of one wild Pokemon on their team. So perhaps it is not actually all that great for training after all. We will still do our best to experience it. I should try to compare. The wild Tentacool was 163 times 2. And then I need to see, what exactly do we get from, let's say, this Quillfish, which is very, very similarly leveled. Will we get more experience because it is a trainer battle? Oh, and it has used Minimize. However, Stomp now deals double damage. Okay, and as you can see, we actually did get, nearly twice as much experience from fighting a trainer than we did from the wild Tentacool. So that is good to know for sure. Oh, and a Gyarados must be great experience. Critical hit, very lucky. Oh, and another one coming in. Fantastic for our, leveling up. I probably should go ahead and check in on the Slowpoke, though. Let's make sure I am not letting it faint. Okay, it still has 74 ticks. We are totally fine. Fortunately, it was poisoned while at pretty high health. Miltank just barely missing out on the level 30 level up. But the next Tentacool will do it for sure. I'll check if there's anything down here, but I'm gonna guess it is, just going to be a whirlpool spot. And I'm not thinking the Whirl Islands are going to offer very much to us if we aren't battling the, Lugia. I guess I can take a look. It has plenty of floors. But then it's just a bunch of wild Pokemon. And I don't think there are any trainers in there. Yeah, so it seems like it is largely a waste of time. So we'll just go ahead and start hitting up. I did notice Miltank is running low on Stomp usage. So it might be the perfect time for us to actually switch it out and go for return. We'll carry through until it runs out of Stomp PP. And a Staryu added to the decks in case you didn't already have it. Though maybe I should have gone for a Shadow Ball there. Oh, Starmie, I will definitely Shadow Ball on it. And that offers pretty similar experience to the Gyarados, which is interesting. Okay, I was not expecting a person with a full team of Pokemon after all of those players with just one or two. Interestingly, even though the Tentacool are a lower level than the wild ones, they are actually still offering a little bit more experience than the wild Tentacool do. So there is definitely a bonus applied to trainer Pokemon, which is just interesting to note. But unfortunately, none of these Pokemon are actually that threatening. And they all fall to a single off-type move. Oh, the final Pokemon is at least a Remoraid though. So it could be decent for those dex entries. And another Tentacool appearing. Let's see if I can KO the wild ones with Shadow Ball as well. And I actually can. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Alright, so this one claims to be surfing. But if we knock out all of their Pokemon, aren't they just going to die? I'm pretty sure we are killing this one. Rest in peace, Paula. We will remember you well. And your shelter sticking out its tongue. The shelter actually the first Pokemon in quite a while to survive a hit though. See, and Paula's now dizzy. And this should be the final battle. We will finish off our Stomp PP. And then take out the other Tentacool with a Shadow Ball. And then we go ahead and use the Return TM. I'm pretty sure by this point, Return should have plenty of power. We also have Ice Punch and Thunder Punch for when our Slowpoke and Quilava evolve. I bought them when we got to Goldenrod, but it is taking a while to become fully available to us. as it only works on the evolved forms. The rest of the TMs in here, I don't particularly plan on using. Slowpoke somehow survived that entire trip without fainting. With poison going the entire time. We are heading into a steel-type gym, so Quilava is up. So, oh, I guess I have to actually go deliver the medicine. I did forget about that part. But I did already clear out the lighthouse beforehand. So it's as simple as climbing the stairs. And here we are. Ampharos has been cured. And now that we have saved this Pokemon, we can murder all of Jasmine's. That is the law of equivalent exchange. Prepare to die. Let's go ahead and save the game one more time. And I'm pretty sure they just use a few Magnemite. And a Steelix. So our Flame Wheels should be fairly effective here. Although, against the Steelix, we might need to come up with a different plan. And they actually go for Steelix second. In that case, we are going to bring in our Slowpoke and see if we're able to just surf our way to victory. The Steelix is level 35, but the Piloswine was definitely a lower level. So is Jasmine actually intended to be fought after Price? I'm not sure. But I am pretty sure the Steelix is a higher level than the Piloswine. So that is a pretty odd design decision. Chuck was very obviously weaker than the other two. And then another Magnemite. We can go ahead and finish this off with the Quilava. And then, now that we have our 7th badge, it should be time for the Rocket Hideout. Oh, and here's the call from Elm. So, we're gonna go ahead and fly into Goldenrod. So, I do have to actually teach it to our Hoothoot before we're able to use it. That being said, I feel like we are kind of abusing such a small creature here. I misclicked on the destination, but how are they carrying us? Hoothoot are quite small creatures. Alright, and here we are at the radio tower. I will keep up with the Quilava, as I would kind of like to get a Typhlosion before we make it over to Jasmine. And this is going to be our premier spot for getting levels on it. But just like in the Rocket Hideout, I want to clear this location before or without visiting a Pokemon Center. So we're going to see how we do. Obviously, having access to Milk Drink should help quite a bit. Let's go ahead and bring in the Sudowoodo and try dropping a Rock Slide. I switched out because they did lower our defense with the first one. I'll go ahead and use Dig to save PP on our other moves. Yeah, you know, I imagine it would be pretty easy to take over a place with no real security. Despite being a pretty basic radio tower, they kind of just let anyone walk in here. Also, I thought Glare was pretty accurate. How did we dodge it with our Quilava? Are the status moves still all dropped to 75 in Generation 2? Because I knew it was a thing in Gen 1, but I didn't know they did it in this one as well. Alright, this Rocket one actually has a ton of Pokemon. So we're gonna see if our Flame Wheel can one-shot it. And we are off to the races. Rattata is down. Let's see how Rattata fares. Alright, and it is down. However, they aren't done yet. Next up is Rattata. And we have no idea what's going to happen next. Alright, so we may have defeated Rattata, but they still have some Pokemon. And they are about to bring in an incredibly fearsome one, known as Rattata. I'm not sure we can actually take this out. They are quite strong. Fortunately, we find ourselves defeating Rattata. But are we going to be able to take out their final Pokemon? They have saved the best for last, and it is none other than Rattata. It is a harrowing battle, but we manage to just barely squeak by. Phew. A Grimer. Glad to see something that is not just another Rattata. Even if we aren't one-shotting it. However, Quilava does have Swift, so that Minimize has had its effects minimized. Another Grimer coming out. And I'm actually going to go for the Swift first here to see if physical attacks deal more damage. But this time, Grimer is going for Harden. So, Flame Wheel it is. And Grimer number 2 is Fallen. Alright, and Slowpoke is level 33, so it should be ready to evolve. But to show off its prowess one last time, let's see if Slowpoke is able to deal with this Muckernaut. Confusion. Going in for a little bit under half. How does Headbutt fare? pretty well. A second headbutt, and Muck has fallen. Oh, and apparently that wasn't the level Slowpoke evolves at. Did I really get that wrong? Oh, it doesn't evolve until level 37, actually. That is such a late evolution. Also, I forgot to battle this one. I don't know why, but I really thought it was level 33. And that was the end of the music. So let's go ahead and get it started again. Looks like Slowpoke still has a way to go. A level 26 Zubat. I am pretty confident they could have had a Golbat there. Zubat evolves at level 22. Okay, on to the next floor. And we actually come across some more civilians. Weezing, I believe, is a physically defensive Pokemon. So we'll go for the Flame Wheels. Smokescreen, unfortunately, lowering our accuracy. So let's switch it up and use Swift to guarantee we hit. Deals around 25%. So we'll finish it off with another Swift, no problem. And that was their only Pokemon. Oh, and I guess this one is a scientist battle rather than a worker at the tower. Unfortunately for them, we have just defeated a level 30 Magnemite, no problem, over in Jasmine's gym. So a level 27 Magnemite is going to pose no problem at all. And I do need a tissue, so I will be right back. And we are back. Magnemite has fallen. And they are bringing in their ace monster, a third Magnemite. As you might expect, it is not going to do much of anything. And a coughing. I'm expecting another couple of Flame Wheels will do the job. But then we start to run into the problem of power points. Our Quilava is not going to be able to Flame Wheel for much longer. And if we fail to one-hit KO anything, we definitely need to use some other move instead. And I mean, after a minimize, we definitely want to use Swift anyway. Unfortunately, the burn is not really helping us. Zubat is coming in next. And maybe I should have gone with Sudowoodo and used the appropriate tool for this job. But I want to get Quilava as many battles as I can. Onto the next floor. And 3 more Pokemon to go through. Golbat is a threat of not one-shotting. So I'll bring in the Sudowoodo for this one. Rock Slide should be no problem against them. Alright, Slowpoke has gotten 1 more level. So just 3 more to go until it hits Slowbro. The goal is by the time I fight Jasmine, I would like all of my Pokemon to be fully evolved. And I mean, that shouldn't be a very tough ask, considering 2 of my Pokemon are single stage lines. Just need to focus on the Quilava and the Slowpoke for a little bit more. And then I can focus on bringing Sudowoodo and Miltank up to their level for the Victory Road segment. Alright, 1 more Scientist. Oh, and they actually finally show off a Porygon. Let's see how our Flame Wheel does. It is level 30, which I feel is easily the highest level 1 we have seen in here. We'll throw out a Swift or 2, and with the Burn as well, we take it out no problem. Unfortunately for them, Porygon just spammed Conversion, doing nothing of note. I was gonna say this should be the 5th floor, but this is an Imposter Director. So, speaking of this Rocket Executive, impersonating the Director, I believe, though I don't think it has ever been confirmed, that this is probably supposed to be the same Rocket Executive who is depicted on the Imposter Professor Oak card in the TCG. Oh, Self-Destruct actually takes out Quilava. So now there is a little bit of a threat here. I'll bring in Sudowoodo, and maybe these digs will help dodge destructions. But I think in one of the betas, that, like, I think Gen 2 was initially going to introduce the Imposter Professor Oak, but then they canned the storyline for some reason or another. Oh, and our accuracy is down. I will say, while the team building is quite bad, I think a bunch of Pokemon around the level 30 mark is pretty appropriate for the boss fight here. I don't think this is that bad of a level for this executive to be at. My Pokemon are a little bit higher, but that is totally fine. We'll go ahead and put in Slowpoke for this one. I want to give the Sudowoodo a bit of a break. And the combination of Poison and Smokescreen could cause some issues. I think the Slowpoke might actually go down here. But it should just survive. One more turn. And that's enough to bring in the Hoodoo as a sack. And then, we'll put in the Miltank to finish the job. Return, definitely going to be enough to at least do that much. And then comes another Coughing. Also level 30. Give them a little bit more variety in the team. And I think this would be a totally defensible fight. Give them an Electrode, for example. And not 5 Coughings. But we go through their small orbs and we're able to go heal up our Pokemon before attempting the next segment. Let's go ahead and get out of here. As you can see, Radio did a pretty good job. 2 of our Pokemon are fainted, and Sudowoodo is at 12 HP, and probably gonna faint. I'd say that was a pretty solid difficulty for the first half of the fight. Let's go ahead and see if they're able to keep up with it as we enter the basement. So that's the entrance I'm familiar with. But that one's blocked off. So the other one must be up here. And I never did these. I had just forgotten about it when I visited Goldenrod the first time. So we'll start off with a pretty quick and simple battle. Also, I am pretty sure there is a rival fight coming up. In preparation for the rival, we are going to go ahead and save the game. And then I'm pretty sure the basement is just this way. Oh, but there is, once again, a super nerd ready to fight us. And this one is using Magnemites. I'm pretty sure even with the resistance, Swift is more than enough to KO at this point. Voltorb coming in next. Unfortunately, no way to skip the battle entirely. And another Magnemite, falling to Swift. So I'm actually not sure if the rival has their final form starter or not yet. It's entirely possible that we are going to be fighting a few surprising guys here. Was that not where the rival fight is? It's somewhere around here. There we go. Alright, and here we go. 5 Pokemon, starting with a Golbat at level 30. So already off to a stronger start than the Rocket Executive. But that also makes sense, as it is a major fight immediately afterwards. We are confused, so we're switching to Sudowoodo. This is a boss fight, so we are going to be focused on actually winning, rather than experience grinding. As we manage to dodge a flinch, our Rock Slide gets in no problem. Next up is for Ralgator. They are indeed fully evolved. They have a bit of an advantage on us. It is only level 32 though. So we're gonna go ahead and use Return. And that did pretty pitiful looking damage. We're gonna see what Shadow Ball is like. About the same. So I'm thinking Return must definitely not be at full power yet. I wish there was a better way to actually check the friendship level. I definitely don't want to run back and forth for an hour to grind out the happiness points. Magnemite is totally fine for Sudowoodo to deal with. I probably should have gone with the Quilava, but my mind went to Dig before it went to Flame Wheel. So we take an extra 20 damage we did not need. But that is also fine, as Dig is also going to work against this Haunter. Mean Look is fine. As soon as we KO the Haunter, I'm pretty sure we are able to treat again. Oh, but Haunter survives. Welcome, Zero Nobody. Sorry for the delayed response. You joined, right as I was choking on my water. And then had a coughing fit. But other than that, I am feeling a lot better than the last few days. Pretty surprised that Flame Wheel did not pick up the KO. So I do have a TM for rollout. But I think it takes too long to get going, and I'd rather be clicking on Return or Shadow. So, rollout, I believe, starts at like 20 power and doubles every turn. However, if your turn is starting at 100 base power and is getting boosted by stab to 150, and then is also boosted by owning Whitney's gym badge, it just, rollout would never catch up. So we actually managed to clear out the rival with relative ease there. But now we have a lot of rocket grunts to get through as well. So I am pretty sure we actually just have to hit all of these switches in order to clear the area out. But maybe it's supposed to be in reverse order or something. I remember the puzzle is not that difficult, but I don't remember the exact solution. Okay, sorry for the AFK again. Was coughing. Just like this rocket grunt. After turning on the water, I am suddenly feeling significantly worse. Unsurprisingly. Defense Curl does boost rollout. But again, that is another turn of setup. And what Defense Curl does is double the base power of rollout. So it's basically the same as just using rollout for an additional turn, but the first one doesn't deal any damage. Maybe this person tells us the right order after we win the fight. Alright, we see a muck. I'm gonna go ahead and try out Sudowoodo. My team is actually taking a bit of a beating across these fights. Hopefully we don't have to go back to the 1v1 center before we clear the floor. Welcome, Crimson Reaper. Yes, it is why we didn't have the point battle earlier. Because I stepped through it and forgot to set up a failsafe of anybody else making the room code. I knew I wasn't going to be able to stream it, but I was planning on still hosting it, or at least letting people play in it, I mean. And it's also why I haven't really uploaded any videos over the last week. So I do have a video going up tomorrow, but even that one isn't a real video. It's a dumb meme that I spent like 20 minutes on that is also unrelated to Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! I wanted to make it a short So it wasn't taking up a normal content spot, but, and then now I have just, again, completely forgotten what I was talking about. Oh, okay. So I'm pretty sure for this, instead of 1, 2, 3, it is 3, 2, 1. And hopefully that does it. Alright, next up is Duncan. Oh, I was talking about my upload schedule. So I do want to finish, playing Crystal. And then I probably am gonna make another Pokemon video. There are dueling stacks I could make profiles on, like Buster Blader and whatnot. But I feel like Tomato has already kind of adequately covered the new decks. And none of them are super exciting. Do I think the plants are good? No. We are working on a tier list over in the Point Battle server. And we need to vote prior to our actual tier voting. And we aren't even discussing plants for a spot on the list. And another grunt. Fortunately, this one does start with glue. Yeah, the plants are not very popular, but it is for good reason. There's just no reason to spend 3 box runs for a deck that mediocre. Obviously, leaving yourself with a empty zone on your actual combo turns is a terrible payoff. Like your Entranze can get piercing, sure. But after it puts itself on the bottom of the deck, you are in a really bad spot. And it really does not do enough to justify it. And the skill doesn't even help set up the play anyway. Typhlosion, now with Thunder Punch. It will deal much better with any water types. You might think it is weird to make Typhlosion my dedicated answer to a type it is weak against. But it is not that bad. The idea is Typhlosion is going to be able to outspeed just about anything I come across. So by hitting it with a Thunder Punch, it'll fall pretty easily. Especially given the level advantage I'll have against things at this point in the game. But Typhlosion is now level 36. I might want to get it one higher, just to have parity with Slowpoke. But I do want to start leveling up our Sudowoodo and Miltank as well. As they have fallen a few levels behind. But we have now gotten the Slowbro. No need for withdraw. Slowbro is at full health. I'm kind of inclined to start using it even more. Oh, my items are full. Constantly an issue. But I can swap it with the Quick Claw again. So that is a good way to get it back into the pack. And then I can give the EXP share to Sudowoodo. A max Ether is not a bad item to have. And the Hyuckster is here once again. However, with the added power of Typhlosion, I was going to say the Flame Wheel was definitely going to KO. But then it did not. Grimer taking out on the second hit. Wheezing. We'll see how Slowbro's Confusion stacks up. Now it has managed to evolve. This should be a pretty significant power buff. Though maybe still not enough to one-shot. But now it does go through. And Sudowoodo manages to level up in the background. So, not so bad. And then that old gentleman, I would assume is the director. But there was a staircase over there. So, maybe we need to go up that as well to finish the storyline. Redfire, does make a good point. I know I'm a few minutes late. But yeah, if you have Ultimate Bond, there's not really any reason to switch over to another deck. I kind of wish I did not invest into the box on launch day and just played, the old decks, as I would have really liked to get some of those new Fluffle cards. And then do some speed dueling. Alright, so the director is here. And now we have the card key. That opens up the third floor. But let's go ahead and see what this brings us to. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the department store basement. Amulet coin is a neat one. I'll go ahead and give that to the Typhlosion. Alright, this is indeed the Goldenrod basement. I think we have earned a recovery at the Pokemon Center, though. So let's go ahead and go here. And then I'm going to give Miltank some more time to shine. I feel like it has already kind of done a lot this stream. But it is also by far our weakest Pokemon by level. So it needs the experience. Let's go ahead, open up this zone, and beat up the rest of the Rocket Grunts and see what we can do. We've done some more walking around, so as we go, return gets gradually and gradually stronger. And I'm pretty sure leveling up also increases happiness, which is not bad. Unfortunately, Smog does have a high chance of poisoning, but we managed to get out of it safely. And on to floor number 4. Apparently, this singular grunt, oh, it's an executive, is the fortress of Team Rocket, because they own a single level 36 Zubat, or Golbat. Truly an undestroyable force. I mean, this is the highest level Pokemon we have seen in the game so far, so it is a fair title. You would just assume he has a little bit more than one partner. Alright, and then another grunt with 4 Pokemon. But they are significantly lower level than that Golbat. Alright, Oddish is up next. But another return ought to do it, as these Pokemon are in the low 20s. Also, once again, a ton of poison types. Part of why Graveler is such a good Pokemon in this region. It does so well against so many of the early trainers. And then you fight a billion poison types later in the game. Obviously, losing to something like these Glooms could be an issue. But Absorb is such a weak move that you actually don't really need to worry about it as much as you might think. And you can always just put something else in. I'm pretty sure this is the top floor. Alright, and then we have the singular... Oh, it's the executive from last time. Okay. Level 32 Arbok. I mean, all we need to do is keep on using Return. And once again, we dodge the glare. Did it have the accuracy buffed in a later generation or something? I need to go look this up now. Okay, so it's actually even worse. It's 75% and then has another 25% failure chance on top of that. Alright, Vileplume is a pretty interesting Pokemon. A Petal Dance would be quite strong, but an Absorb would not be. Let's go ahead and Milk Drink to recover our health. Sleep Powder, unfortunately, another pretty solid move. I'm gonna go ahead and try to wait out the sleep, unless we get hit by another down status. Remember, this is not a competitive VGC or non-VGC game. So that Vileplume would be able to just go ahead and click on even more sleep powders should we switch out. But we have woken up, and our turn does a ton of damage. I'm gonna go ahead and milk drink again. And they don't choose to sleep powder. So Miltank will take out the Vileplume with our next hit. And then we'll see what their final Pokemon is. A Murkrow. Right, I remember that from the last time. But I don't see any reason to be worried about it. Miltank comes in and deals a bunch of damage. And we should just have the one more executive here. Alright, and final executive battle. It is a little bit weird that the previous boss on the other side of the radio tower had a full team with a ton of coughing, etc. And then this guy only is allowed to have 3 Pokemon. Just seems a little bit like you'd almost want the 5 coughing guy to be here. But I will take what we get. Houndoom is going to be a perfect opportunity for us to show off Slowbro with a super effective Surf. And we somehow outsped a Houndoom as a Slowbro. Is Houndoom really that bad? I need to go look this up now. What is its base speed? Like, it has to be, it's base 95. Oh, I have a Quick Claw. The Quick Claw activated. But it doesn't actually tell us that in Generation 2. It just randomly decides Slowbro gets to go first. Alright, so then we are headed to, the Tin Tower next. Who is this guy? Oh, okay. So since I think we might not have a fully maxed out friendship on Miltank, I am actually going to walk to Ecruteak rather than fly, just to get in the extra steps. And I mean, we're already in Goldenrod, which is an adjacent city, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I also definitely need to visit the center since we ran out of return PP. And here we go. Oh. Oh, Alright, looks like we have a battle gauntlet against the 3 evolved sages here. Starting off with a Noctowl. Could be a slight throwback to how one of the higher ranking sages in Sprout Tower uses a Hoodoo. Though I'm not expecting to see any victory bells coming out of these guys. Flareon does make some amount of sense though. However, Slowbro, Quick Claw activating, and Flareon is gonna go down to a single Surf. Oh, and our Sudowoodo is even gaining some levels in the process. So I'm gonna assume these are also going to be level 32, but with a Vaporeon and a Jolteon as their other Pokemon. Foresight does not do anything because we are not a ghost type. So the Noctowl faints while doing nothing. Jolteon could be dealt with by the Sudowoodo, but I'm gonna let the Miltank handle it. Double Kick is super effective, but it is also a pretty weak move coming from a Jolteon. So we are not too concerned about it, actually. Let's just go ahead and two-shot it like normal. And Miltank goes up to level 33. All part of the plan. Nine tier towers. So we get a little bit of lore about Ho and Lugia resting at the top of these towers. Or at least I assume they're going to mention Ho-Oh after this one, because I'm pretty sure they said Silver, even though Ho is the one who revived the Pokemon after the downpour. So this is a Vaporeon. So we're gonna give our Typhlosion test, our Typhlosion counter, a test. How much is Thunder Punch able to do to the Vaporeon? It looks like it is only going to be a 2-hit KO, but the Sand Attack does not connect. And for some reason, they didn't give that Vaporeon Surf. Or they chose not to do it. For some reason or another. Alright, so, I believe they did say this is a 9-tier tower. That is a lot. Oh, and both Raikou and Entei are also here apparently. Oh wait, and I'm just immediately battling. I did think I had to climb the tower first. But I suppose not. Also, I don't plan on using the Suicune. I I thought we already used Rain Dance. I mean, I might go ahead and try to capture the Suicune anyway, but I didn't really come with a ton of Pokeballs. And I don't think I have any status-inducing moves. So, we'll see what happens. I don't really expect it to be breaking out and just running through all of these Pokeballs. And then I will KO the Suicune without much care. It is up to the Suicune whether or not it wishes to join us. And there is our Ultra Ball. Only 2 shakes. Also, interestingly, you're able to reset the Rain Dance while it is active. I'm not sure if that's a mechanic that carries on in future generations. Like, I am pretty sure it'll just be like, but it's already raining. Or maybe I've just never thought to try. Leer, Rain Dance, Gust. Not a very impressive moveset for our box legendary Pokemon. We have just a few more Pokeballs. And also, obviously, I could, like, heal as well here. But it is fine. Like, it's really not a big deal if Miltank faints. I am finishing it off with a Bubble Beam, which it has finally chosen after many turns. And we are down to our final Pokeball. Suicune has broken out and chosen death. Slowbro, use Headbutt. Oh, and it actually survived. Maybe I should have done that before throwing all the balls. But it probably wouldn't have made a difference. I don't think we ever got to the third option. Now that we have dealt with Suicune, we are ready to go and battle Claire. Or, I suppose we aren't actually quite ready to do that, as we need to get to Blackthorn City. And I think that's probably where I would call it for the day. So, let us make our way over there and see how our Pokemon end up doing. I do know this is a big level jump. Previous boss was level 35, and the highest Pokemon we've encountered is level 36. But I believe, Claire is in the 40s. Oh, and we are on a route with actual wild trainers, etc. So let's go ahead and grab those experience points. are up against a Psychic. Not 2, only attainable over in the Ruins of Alph, but it is a Psychic type and unevolved, so Miltank is going to do a great job of handling it with Shadow Ball. And another Shadow Ball should finish the job. Miltank looking to be in prime form. But with our Sudowoodo hitting level 36, I think it's fair to remove the EXP share from it. But our storage is still kind of full. So it is what it is. I could go and just like toss an item. And honestly, that might be the right idea to do after this battle, as I think the Miltank is going to be a pretty important piece to knocking out Kingdra. Obviously, we don't have any Fairy-type Pokemon, and dragons are also essentially non-existent. The only physically damaging dragon-type move of any notable worth is Dragon Breath. And the only way to get Dragon Breath is to beat Claire. So we are essentially fighting a Pokemon with no weakness. And that means Miltank coming in with a high-powered return is by far our best option to get through the battle. Other than that, I am planning on using our Slowbro. As it has now evolved, it is going to be able to learn Ice Punch. And Ice Punch is going to do pretty well against the Dragonairs. So let's go ahead and give Slowbro some additional coverage. I'm pretty sure there should be a filler move here. And that is going to be Curse for sure. You could argue that I don't need Headbutt, but I like to keep all the field moves, even if I'm not really using them. So, Sudowoodo, we can now probably take the EXP share. And funnel all of the experience from this route onto our Miltank. Let's just see how Shadow Ball does. Oh, looks like it is a 3-hit KO, so we are going to swap out for the Slowbro to minimize any damage that our Miltank would be taking. Hit the Rhyhorn with Surf, and it'll go down, no problem. Rhyhorn is a pretty rare Pokemon, so it is fitting for the Pokemaniac class. I like this person just introduces themselves as good at Pokemon, rather than, say, at battling or raising them. They are really just admitting that Pokemon is a game. Also, this person used a single Charmeleon and was unable to beat Morty. So I don't know why they would claim it to be so good at the game if they weren't even able to beat any of the gym leaders. But if we not actually a Psychic type, so we'll go with Return instead of Shadow Ball. And Miltank is trying to learn Rollout naturally at level 34. And I think we might still have Defense Curl. So I suppose the Rollout can take the slot. Just for fun. We see a Blossom. And I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to one-shot that. So let's go ahead and bring in Typhlosion for a quick little Flame Wheel. And this ought to do the trick. We have an 11 level lead and a super effective attack. This trainer definitely seemed better than the Charmeleon person. Alright, and Edgar here, having another Remoraid. I don't know if you're actually able to capture them on this route or not. I feel like that's usually what the Fisher class should be about, is kind of showcasing any rare spawns that players should be aware of and want to fish up for themselves. But I don't think it's actually used that way. Very often. We usually just see a ton of Magikarps and etc. It would be very funny if this person just throws out a Zapdos. Obviously they are not going to do that, but it would be quite comical to get a first-hand experience of what the legendary bird Pokemon might be like. Speaking of, I think if I were to add a trainer with the bird Pokemon, I think Faulkner's dad would make a lot of sense. We don't really hear a lot about him. But we know he is a flying type trainer and that he left to go do something. So hunting out legendary birds would make sense to me. Alright, we are on Ice Path, but none of these ice types are actually going to be all that helpful for us. Trying to beat the Dragon Master. So we'll just beat up anything we battle against. And I'm sure this is the Waterfall HM. And it is. How do I get out? So I have to go here. So this is mandatory, this is mandatory. And so is this, and this, and this. Okay, and here we go. I think Waterfall might be for Psyduck as well, but I don't fully remember. So I am waiting a little bit before I teach it, since we don't actually need it just yet. Surprisingly, a lot of Golbat rather than ice types showing up in this cave. I see holes for strength puzzles, but I wasn't really aware, that Ice Path had those. I thought this was a pretty straightforward, cave. But I guess we will find out as we progress. I want to see if I can KO the Delibird with a Shadow Ball or not. They are a pretty low level. Alright, and we don't need to use our returns on it. As we can, Strength to go over here. And then what? Oh, this one has leveled up a little bit. Compared to the others. But that is not enough to survive the attack. So if we push this downwards, we'll be able to push it into the hole. So we might as well get that out of the way now. In case it is mandatory, I want to do as little tracking back and forth as possible. So we need to go up one, then push this here. We can push it into the end, then down one more, and there we go. Are there any other boulders around here? There is, but I appear to be coming from potentially the wrong side. We'll have to examine it a little bit more closely when we get over there. Unfortunately, Miltank is going to be taking quite a bit of damage here from the confusion. As we'll go ahead and drop a milk drink whenever we're able to, and then eventually we will be unconfused and finish off the battle with Shadow Ball. But now we also know what we should be using our returns on. If we're not able to one-shot these. Okay, I see how this works. Yes. Okay, so we push this one up one. And then we go around. Down. Oh, and a wild encounter. And it is another Golbat. So we are going to be dropping a return on it. And taking it out, presumably in one swift blow. Drop the Strength Boulder. Then we come here, and it is able to go, which way has the opening for it? Alright, looks like it needs to be up and then pushed a bunch to the left, but not too far, or it'll be stuck on the edge. But we are able to do this. We go, push it up one, and then to there. And as long as we don't accidentally walk and push it, we will be okay. Wait, I forgot the Golbats do not get KO'd. But fortunately, we are not confused. So, Golbat is going to go down, one step. Okay. And then one. And return to knock out Golbat. And Miltank has quickly caught up with the levels of the rest of our squad. And I guess we are able to go down now as well. I'm not sure what exactly we are looking for as a solution, or even what the problem is at this point, as we did not enter from the natural zone. But I did see an item over there, so that seems like a decent place to try to start. Max Potion, Is there anything we can use? I mean, if I have an ether, I could drop those. As I am running low on PP. For both Shadow Ball and Return. And I will grab the potion here. Alright, so this is where we would normally start. And I think this has to be right. But I guess not. Do any of these others put us in line of a boulder? I don't feel like they do. Maybe I am missing one. I see roughly where I think I need to go. I need to hit the left boulder and then go up to the top boulder and then go right. But how do I get to that? Unless this does it, which it does not. That is odd. What if I drop here? Nothing in particular. But what if I do it again? And then go down instead? Also no. Off by 1. But that is fine. We'll just try going down on the different holes and seeing which one lets us do it. This one puts us here, which is exactly where I wanted to go. Perfect. And then we're able to go deeper into the cave. We have Rock Smash, so let's go ahead and claim this free item. Oh, but first, a wild Golbat encounter. And it's a good thing we had those ethers. Golbat now all the way up to level 25. Obviously still not a huge deal for us. The Never Melt Ice. We do have Ice Punch on Slowbro, but we're definitely using the Quick Claw instead. Alright, another Zubat. Zubat, I think we are going to be able to Shadow Ball. And then we're going to have another ice puzzle to take a look at. Or we are not, as we are able to just immediately board the ladder. Iron, not that important. And not a super difficult puzzle either. Oh, we find a protein. But if we are able to pick that one up, that means we probably already have one hiding in here. So let's go ahead and use them. I think Miltank is the right choice for this, as it is our primary special attacker. And another Deli. sorry about the delay. Had to use some tissue. And actually, I probably need another one. But looks like we have made it to the city. So maybe, the ethers were not that necessary. Alright, so our team can fight Claire, but we also do have access to a new route. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of exploring, see if we can't find a few trainers to fight. I'm pretty sure this leads just down to the starting city, and we can fly back upwards. We can go ahead and start using return again, as I don't think we are going to be in any danger of running out of PP if we're just fighting the random Pokemon and trainers along a single route. Graveler, we will go ahead and switch in our Slowbro. Graveler is one of the few Pokemon that I feel we might actually be able to outspeed even without the Quick Claw. We have no real way to know for sure whether or not it is activating, unless we know we are slower. Oh, so there was another trainer the other direction. As a kid, I actually once found a shiny Graveler here, but then it exploded on me, and I was sad. At that point, I decided I would not use my Master Ball, in future games. Unless it was on something like that. So this trainer is going to tell me it's foolish to use only attacking moves. So to disprove them, I'm going to click on return 3 times and wipe out the entire team. Alright, Wartortle down in 1 hit. And finally, a second Wartortle. Pretty interesting. But not going to do very much. I wonder what their strategy actually was. Or if they even had one. Alright, Kenji with their lone level 28 Machoke. Let's see what return does to it. And it's a critical hit down in 1 shot. And then we grab a free nugget, apparently. And alright, we aren't yet at the point of the level 2 Pokemon. So we aren't all the way down just yet. I also know we need to go to the right, as there were optional split paths that both had trainers on them. Oh, and there is yet another hiker. Perhaps we will give our Slowbro the lead spot before we queue into them, in case they are another user of rock-type Pokemon. Sometimes the hikers are fighting-type users, but even if that is the case, Slowbro would be able to use Confusion on them. So let's bring it in and see what happens. Alright, and it's actually ground type. Totally fine for surfing on. I do think the Miltank probably could have outsped the Diglett and avoided taking the damage, but this is fine as well. Dugtrio, same deal. Only slightly annoying thing is if they choose to use Dig, and it makes us take another turn to clear it. But Slowbro is going to do just fine. Alright, another trainer claiming to be particularly tough. Fearow is a pretty good choice in this generation. I gotta use Ice Punch here, but Surf is probably good enough, especially if we get a critical hit. Alright, next up is a Tauros. We could bring in our low kick Sudowoodo, but I'm inclined to give the kill to Miltank. Cow versus Bull. The classic rivalry. And then the final one will be a Primate. So I'll bring it back to the Slowbro here. Presumably also going to be level 30. We'll see if Confusion is able to do the trick. With our Quick Claw triggered, we managed to take out the Primate without taking any damage. Oh, level 30, they went to the Battle Tower. That is pretty clever. The Battle Tower does have different sections for like every 10 or so levels. So a pretty clever thing to include. Route 46. I believe I have officially been here. So it is time to fly back up to Blackthorn and then do it again. Put our Miltank in the lead. And this time, take the right path whenever it is offered to us to make sure we are encountering everything we can. Gravelers are going to be the duty of Slowbro. Even if they self-destruct, Slowbro is a physical tank and should be able to do it. Alright, exclusive trainer number 1. Another cool trainer. It is nice to see that as we go, we're seeing the more elite trainer classes at a much higher frequency. L25 Pidgeot is definitely much earlier than we're able to get it, but I don't really mind that either. Electabuzz, a pretty fun inclusion to round out the team. But obviously they are going to be pretty under-leveled here. So it falls in one hit. And I think there should be another trainer after this next ledge. One more Graveler. And it does not self-destruct, but with a magnitude 9, it is a pretty powerful move. However, the level difference and Slowbro's incredibly high defense allow it to shrug it off. No problem. If it's only a Geodude, I think our Shadow Ball will be sufficient. But apparently not. We are requiring 2 to take down even a regular Geodude 13 levels lower. And that means it is Slowbro time. We'll go ahead and outspeed with Surf. Definitely no shot of that thing ever living the attack. And finally, it is a Golem to round out the team, but it is only level 25. So, goodbye to Golem. So apparently the trainer is drinking the HP up. That is a pretty funny post-battle dialogue. And it makes me wonder, what is HP up even supposed to be then? Oh, a little, surf area. Not what I was expecting to find. But we will fly back to Blackthorn, go to the Pokemon Center, and then we aren't done exploring just yet. There is also an open cave. I believe it's the other part of Dark Cave. But maybe it's a different one instead. No, it is indeed Dark Cave. Hoodoo coming in handy, not only for Fly, but also Flash, lighting up the cave for us to explore. As we'll start here and see what kind of items show up. Though obviously our pack is pretty full. I don't really need the money for anything, so I didn't think to go sell the nuggets. And there's always a chance it's items we already own and are able to stack in the bag. Though that does just make it seem even sillier that there is an item limit. How can our bag be full if we're able to shove more revives into it? And obviously there are also the dedicated areas for TMs, etc., which apparently have plenty of space but cannot hold any other items at all. Oh, welcome, Benex. Hope you're having a good day. I can't quite tell what the emote is, though. I just see the white and black and yellow background. And more Geodudes. Oh, I can actually read the third one. Hello. And welcome. Oh, wait, I think this is just the entrance. That that was a pretty short exploration of the cave. But that does everything that we wanted to explore outside of Blackthorn. I mean, I know the second one is presumably like a waving person. That's the one you normally use. But I really don't know what it is apart from that. Okay, I actually was gonna get... I at first was not going to bother with the spell tag. But I actually do want access to boosted Shadow Balls every now and then. So let's go ahead and sell some of these items. I think we have the full heals, so we don't really need any of the other status curing items. And then obviously nuggets are only in the game to be sold. And also, frozen Pokemon are definitely the rarest of them all, and I don't use the X items. Though, maybe I actually should. As Claire is a pretty rough fight for an unprepared player. And I'm going to start off with Slowbro here. Well, I want to give Typhlosion a chance. But if this is a bunch of Dratinis and stuff, we'd be in issues. But I'm guessing I'm actually just going to be fighting, like, Horsies. No, it is a Dratini. And it's actually level 34 as well. Let's see how Swift does. Not bad. Though the Paralysis, and Dragon Rage are going to be a pretty solid combination. Knocking Typhlosion down a peg. But if it is Dratinis, then Slowbro with Ice Punch is going to be the right choice. Definitely a step up from the other trainers we have been battling. Though Dratini is a basic Pokemon and not all that impressive. Ice Punch from Slowbro finishes it off no problem. Oh, Crystal was your first game. How did you enjoy it? And do you remember what your teammates were? Alright, so Strength obviously is going to push that one down. But are there any other trainers, etc., to battle with up here? Absolutely. Yeah, that is a good point. We are basically a random no-name trainer. And I'm thinking this Typhlosion is not going to be in a great spot up against a Seadra. But instead of attacking, they simply use Leer. I am pretty sure I also chose Totodile for my first playthrough. Okay, this one, it wants me to push this way. So I can push this all the way up to here. And then slide it in. Alright, and one more battle. Oh, and here are some non-dragon types. But is it just gonna be like a Horsey? It is. Okay. I wonder if this is them trying to throw you off as a Gen 1 player about Kingdra's existence. Like, they're obviously getting to it with the Horsies and the Seadras in the gym. But if you didn't know, you might just think that they're like, oh, well, it has the first half of dragon in its name. I wonder what they have to say in the post-battle dialogue. Like, will they say, yeah, if only they had a dragon. Only after being allowed. So you're not allowed to evolve, the Pokemon, which is pretty interesting to me. Alright, and here's one who is actually allowed to use them. But that means we are switching out for our Slowbro, dedicated Dragon Destroyer, with its Ice Punch. Dragonair does not stand a dragon of a chance. However, due to me having to switch it in, Slowbro is taking 80 damage here. And it actually survived the first hit. Slowbro is now paralyzed, but manages to come through. And one more trainer. And then we will go heal before our boss battle. Another Totodile, another Dratini. I'll see what Swift does to it. Dragon Rage is a pretty good strategy when they know we are going to be a little bit higher level. Dragon Rage is actually going to take out the Typhlosion here, thanks to a lucky paralysis. But if they are an unevolved Pokemon, I think Miltank is going to do pretty well into it. Return should be more than good enough to grab a KO. And then a Dragonair. This one is a little bit more threatening, and it's even at level 36. Thunder Wave coming down. But all we need is one hit, and we're at full HP. And there it is. Dragonair defeated. But now we do need to get out of here. I don't know if there's any way for me to actually push this boulder along. I don't think so. Looks like there's gonna be something blocking it at all times. So let's go ahead and heal on up. If I happen to miss anyone, then I'm not gonna heal again before I'm not gonna bother healing anymore before the gym leader, but I think I battled all of the trainers anyway. So let's find out. I just wasn't sure if there's anyone hiding over on the right or not. And also, the way it's set up makes it seem as though you should be able to push a second boulder down. But I don't think you can. Like, you see what I mean? How that boulder feels like there should be another one to actually let you get to Claire. But let's go ahead and save. And we'll worry about that some other time. Maybe it's just a decoy boulder. Slowbro as our lead to deal with any dragon types they bring in. Claire starting off, of course, with one of many Dragonair. We will be using Ice Punch. Dragon Breath is fine, but as you can see, it does a little bit less damage than even just a regular Dragon Rage would. Another Dragon Breath coming down, but a critical hit and the paralysis makes it much stronger than a Dragon Rage. I was actually just about to start talking about that paralysis chance, but they got to it first. And this Dragonair apparently has Thunderbolt, and with a fully paralyzed turn, Slowbro can only now try to get a Quick Claw activation, but it fails. I want to save Miltank for the for the Kingdra. So I think next up is going to be Sudowoodo. Rock Slide should be neutral up against this Thunderbolting Dragonair and offer decent damage. Just right around 50%, which is all we need. Rock Slide taking down the Dragonair, one step at a time. And in comes the Kingdra boss. This is who we saved Miltank for. A level 40 Kingdra. Let's use Return and see how it goes. Welcome, Techno Charmy. You've caught us actually right near the end of the stream. We have been doing pretty well. I actually, currently have COVID, so outside of the stream, maybe not so well. But we've smoothly progressed through, the 3 mid-game gym leaders and have made it to Claire without too many problems. Hyper Potion with all of those smoke screens is a bit of an issue. I want to bring in the Hoodoo, so it'll fall down. But this Kingdra cannot stop clicking on a smoke screen. Our return is still only a 3-hit KO, and Surf is a very powerful move, making this a very close competition. We'll hit him with a second one, and they seem to have stopped with the smoke screens entirely here. But just barely. Miltank is able to take out the Kingdra. And Dragonair, number 3, is their final Pokemon. Return is going to do it. Not quite. So Ice Beam taking down Miltank. Typhlosion able to resist the Ice Beam, but both Flame Wheel and Thunder Punch are resisted as well. So we finish off the battle with a Swift. We get the money, but we are not going to get the badge yet. And then, once we finish with actually obtaining the badge, we're probably going to call it for the day. I want to save the Elite Four and Victory Road for its own stream. Though I might actually do Victory Road off stream. Since it might just be like a long grind event against a bunch of random wild Pokemon. I'm pretty sure there are no trainers in the Gen 2 Victory Road. And Cantrip, that is correct. This is base crystal, just so I could get a feel for the level curve. Obviously, a ROM hack is going to adjust the levels of all these trainers. But I wanted to see things like how wait, why am I not clicking on Ice Punch? Streamer bad at game. I want to see whether or not I would be over or under leveled, and I was actually just barely under the level of Kingdra with my team. but that is totally fine. Just like it is fine to be stronger than the rocket grunts. I do think maybe the executives could use a slight tune-up. But other than that, it's not that big of an issue. And I agree with Cantrip. I think the game looks pretty good. Especially for how old it is. Retro graphics are pretty fun. I think once you get into the 3D games, stuff like PS1, PS2 era games look really bad. But they made a great system. Or I think the 2D games look great even with minimal graphic capability. Yeah, I could use the repels through Victory Road, but then I would be a little bit worried about being underleveled for the Elite Four. So I want to give it as natural of a playthrough as I can. I've been fighting most of the trainers I come across, and not spamming the repels on everything. So I think we do want to go ahead and give Sudowoodo back that EXP share. And then Typhlosion can take the place of Slowbro as our lead. Apparently there is quite a young pair of Dragon Tamers. Or are they possibly going to be using... And they even have a Dratini. These small children have been given permission by Claire to use this. Which I just think is very funny that some of the veteran trainers in the gym did not have permission then. And the Dratini comes with a flamethrower. Very fun. Another Dratini coming on out, and obviously these could start dropping surfs on me at any time. But fortunately, they are just going for a couple of Thunder Waves. Though the full paralysis is an issue, it is not so bad if they click Thunder Wave 3 times in a row and do absolutely nothing. Also, I'm not sure if I actually remember to say it, but welcome, No Name. And thank you for joining us. Wait, is there a difference between a pal and a friend? I want to see what the extreme speed Dratini quiz answers are supposed to be. Like, how can they possibly, differentiate between these two? Oh, okay. As long as you don't answer underling, it is fine, apparently. I'll go with pals. I think cheating is how you win battles, actually. I want to battle all the trainers. All Pokemon are good Pokemans. And we should be good to go. I'm not actually going to go ahead and claim the Dratini. I definitely do not plan on raising something from level 15 before going to the league. Wait, what are they saying? A trainer has gained... Oh, okay. So this is the master. It isn't actually Claire that gives them permission. It is them. Okay. Alright, and then we get the Dragon Breath TM. Go to New Barktown and then surf east. Okay. But I'll finish exploring out this area. There might be some trainers over on the right side that we did not battle. Or cool items. The Dragon Fang, I believe is the dragon boosting move. Oh, and that's it over there. At least that we're able to get to from this side. So I guess we will try going the other direction. Magikarp makes sense to encounter here. And I will be Thunder Punching it off of the planet. Though I am apparently paralyzed and slower than the Magikarp due to the speed drop. In early generations, paralysis actually gives your speed a 1/4 multiplier. In some of the later generations, it has been changed to only be a 50% debuff. I guess that's probably common knowledge, but I figured I would share it for anyone who didn't happen to know. I don't know if there's anything cool to be headbutted here. It feels like such a cool little exclusive spot, that they really ought to have put something rare there. But I feel like they probably didn't. I'm going to go look it up, though. The headbutt trees are apparently not even in Gen 4. So, or they just didn't bother mentioning them. Maybe there is no spawn. That'd be really weird, though. To just put them in there and then never have a Pokemon show up. I feel baited. Oh, and Professor Elm is going to give us the Master Ball. So let's go ahead and fly to New Barktown. I don't know why he was just holding on to this for a while. I do need to heal. So let's go ahead and go here. Wait, do they actually not heal me? Wait, nope, that is not what I wanted to do. Okay. And then they said there were dolls in my room, but they lied. Oh, decoration. Ornaments, Clefairy, and a Charmander doll. fun little decorations. The healing location is actually the laboratory. Rather than the mom, like it is in most of the other games. Because the mom handles the money instead. So, we are going to call it a day here. Let's go ahead, save the game one more time. And thank you to everybody who tuned on in. I'll go ahead and see if anyone else is playing through Crystal over on Twitch. And maybe we will toss out a raid. How about gold version? No. How about silver version? No. I didn't see all too much. So I guess that is going to be it. Also, nobody playing Rush Duels on Yu-Gi-Oh! So that'll be it. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you again next time.